Well, good evening all you slip angle fans out there. My name is Joe Wall, and this orange beauty right here is my 30th anniversary edition Mazda MX-5 Miata. Little background, I've had Miatas for 14 years. NAs, I got an MB at home also, and this is the third Miata in my driveway. Why the 30th anniversary edition? Why not? I mean, you know, I've been driving these things for a long time, and this is the best Miata that I've ever driven. Right now, I'm president of the Nutmeg Miata Club, and our club has about 110 members, obviously all Miata owners. So, you know, Miata is not just a car, it's a lifestyle. And you know, both my boys had Miatas when they were home. Actually, the first Miata in our driveway was my oldest son's, and I ended up getting that one from him after he went off to college. He went over to the dark side, got a Mustang, came back to the Miata about a year and a half later. But we've had Miatas for quite some time, and I just absolutely love these cars.
So here's my initial impressions driving this around, okay?
Okay, shoot.
Chassis is extremely rigid. This is definitely the biggest improvement, like in the generations of Miatas. This is a super rigid chassis, very good. Even with the top down but the windows up, there's not a lot of wind noise in here.
Nope.
Which that's nice. Steering feels nicely weighted. It's providing sufficient feedback. These are electronic rack, or are these hydraulic now?
They're electronic.
Honestly, electronic's the way to go. If you design an electronic rack well, they're fantastic, and there's no parasitic drag on the motor. All right, no pressure. Cold tires.
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
And if you look in the dashboard, it tells you how cold it is outside.
Oh, it's chilly out today.
What does it say?
37 degrees.
And we're driving with the top down.
And we got the top down. Like true hardcore Miata enthusiasts.
Of course.
So on the brakes, got a little bit of roll. A little bit of rotation.
And here we go.
Motor's revving happily. I bet you this is gonna soak these bumps up. Look at that, to the floor. No issues there.
Cold tires.
That body roll makes this super easy to control. I felt the ABS activate a little bit there on that third gear, probably because of the cold tires.
And the brakes are wonderful.
Oh yeah. Super easy to drive. No drama.
And I cannot see a thing.
Getting blinded by the sun here.
That was a very interesting ride through that section.
You know what I like?
This car has never been driven like that.
So this is the thing that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to suspension. And I get this question all the time. They're like, hey, I want to start autocrossing and doing this and blah, blah, blah. What coilover should I get? But what people don't understand about like stock suspension cars like this is that body roll makes them super easy to like explore the limits, and they're super forgiving.
Yes.
Because they soak up bumps, they don't snap. You can like transfer the weight, and like once you get it loaded up in a corner, you could just feel the car take its stance, and like it allows you to play with the balance of it.
Then you go around the corner.
And like, don't get me wrong, like I love coilover cars because I like to like toll the shit out of everything that I drive. But like, you know, it took me a while to get up to that point, and I had my crashes and I had my, you know, million close calls. But like, having a car with suspension like this really allows you to explore that stuff and for it to be forgiving. And it's nice. Like, it's a nice thing to have. Now, with that said, like, I'm sure this car would get a lot more faster responding with a little bit of increased spring rate, but for out of the box, it's still pretty good. Motor felt nice and healthy.
Oh yeah. That's one thing that I really like about this car is the fact that, you know, you can beat on it pretty good and not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's very responsive. It pulls really good down low, likes to rev. The gearbox feels good, even though there are some people that have had trouble with gearboxes. Not so much on the 19s because they're at version 5 on the ND gearboxes now. But, you know, it's so well integrated. You don't get into this car, you put it on.
Yeah.
That's the thing about this car. It's cozy, but it's comfortable, and it feels like you're part of the car.
Oh, watch out, man.
Oh, shit. All right, that works.
So let's wrap this up. We got a beautiful reservoir here. It's 34 degrees Fahrenheit. My hands are a little chilly, but
and we're driving with the top down.
We're driving with the top down, but Joe, I have to like be honest. I haven't been this impressed with a stock Miata ever. And every time I've gone back to a stock Miata after like highly modifying my NA and NB, oh my God, I'm just like, I want to like throw up, you know. I'm just like, man, I used to drive one of these, but you know, for a stock platform, I can feel it. There's a lot of potential in this car. Like, I can only imagine like what one of these feels like with like a nice exhaust manifold, full exhaust, intake, and a tune. I bet you this would be a really spunky car. And like, go ahead.
What I was going to say is, there have been people that have been trying to put a tune on the 19s.
Yep.
And they're not getting much.
Well, I mean, it depends on how much meat they left on the table. Usually with the exhaust manifold, there's always a little bit of meat. Almost always, because they don't do really nice true merge collectors that have like anti-reversion and like and good scavenging. Like, they just can't put that in for the price point on a car at this cost. So usually there's a little bit to be had there. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that, like, this is the first Miata that I've ever felt that kind of has that reminiscence of an S2000. And I have felt one, like, my NB is like the closest one that like I've been able to produce to like kind of make like an S2000. This out of the box is pretty close to one. Yeah, it doesn't have like the manic, you know, screaming motor up top, but like, this, dare I say, this car definitely feels punchier down low around town. This car's less work to like drive around through traffic than an S2000 is. An S2000 with that anemic power band down low like means you have to work more to like get up to speed in traffic, where this is just very civilized. This is quiet. You know, like I bet you this car with the roof up, which if I remember correctly, the last ND I was in, they're very quiet inside.
Oh yeah, they are.
My S2000 is noisy as hell. You know, so like Mazda did a great job with this car, and like I gotta say, like the enthusiast in me was kind of sad when the S2000 was discontinued, because there really wasn't anything else on the market that was like kind of like it. And the NC at the time, like I wouldn't say it was just a different class of car.
Yeah,
and
totally different league.
And not that this is the same class of car, but this car is getting close to that, and I think that's really cool. You know, I'm happy that Mazda did something like that. And even the looks of this car like is more reminiscent of the S2000 with the sharper, more like angry, mature looking headlights, the bulgy front fenders. Like that's, to me, that's like typical traditional Japanese sports car styling.
Do it, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Whoops. What was that?